Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. It's Marathon Monday. Happy Monday to all of you guys out there. We're going to cover the race heard round the world, yesterday's New York City Marathon, and all of the Bachelor Nation contestants, alumni, stars that ran it, what times they did, who won the marathon, and all that. Spoiler, the winner is anybody who attempts a marathon. That's the true winner. It's the one sport I give participation trophies to. If you decided to try to run 26.2 miles, train for it, and test your body's strength and endurance, you are a winner. So congrats to everyone out there who not only ran but finished. Do me a favor, go to Instagram at DNeals for all of my content, and we'll get right into this story right now. And as always, if you haven't been around and haven't noticed, I'm close to 50,000 subscribers. Hip, hip, hooray to 50K. I've got this bag I'm going to open when I get to 50,000. So a little surprise in there. And then we'll do a nice extended live stream at 50,000. We'll get there in a couple weeks. I think that'll be a nice Christmas gift from you to me. So double check and make sure you're subscribed. You may think you are. Sometimes YouTube will unsubscribe you. You won't even know it. We'll get into it. All right. Also, I've got new content on my Instagram right here. Instagram Reels. 3 new Reels. Women love a weighted blanket. Some stand-up comedy I did over the weekend. Plus, I've got diving in Belize and Tasha saved my life in this pool. So you can check out any of these. I'll show you this one just for fun. This is a nice little turtle. Isn't that a beautiful turtle? And then you'll see Tasha and myself in the background swimming, trying to catch up to this turtle. They look like they're moving slow, but they're moving way faster than you'd think. All right, and then of course Tasha's got some great content. We made persimmon cookies this weekend. You can check that out. And of course, here's Tasha's reel. Go check this out on her Instagram at Tasha Courtney right there. She went swimming with sharks. There's the same turtle. Let's see if we can get a shark photo here. So go check out this whole thing. There's the shark. Oh, we did it, folks. So let me know what you guys think of that. All right, we'll get into it. All right, just a plug from me to you. Jump right into this. Joseph Park. Now, he's the fastest of all the contestants that ran this race. And how surprising. No one was even close. And again, it doesn't matter. Finishing the marathon is winning. That's all that matters. Now, if you want to hear my story of how I accidentally won a marathon at the age of 19, I'll tell you that at the end of this video, and I'll show you the one photo I have from that marathon where your boy was looking pretty young, 16 years ago, something like that. 17. Yeah, 17 years. 4 years ago when I was 19. 4 years ago. All right. It was a while ago. All right, before we had Twitter. So Joseph, so the split, now I was taking notes. This is what I was doing this morning. I was taking all these notes. I was dividing how many minutes splits there were. A split is how long it takes you to run 1 mile. So the idea when you're marathon running is you want to be pretty consistent here. So look, his last mile right here, 6 minutes, 43 seconds. So he literally ran his fastest mile on his last mile from at the 3 mile mark, going 8 minute mile. He even, halfway through running 8 minute mile, but then he drops it a full minute and change to finish. So if you're asking me, it looks like he might have had extra fuel in the tank there. We'll see how everyone else did. But this is, obviously it's not important to see the splits, but we have Tasha and Zach finishing. I'll tell you what, I was surprised how fast Tasha ran. I didn't know she was, she did a very good job. 4 hours and 40 minutes, which is a split time of about 10.5 minute mile, which might not sound like a lot. You might do that for 2 or 3 miles. Do it for 26. Not an easy feat. So here's Dustin. Dustin had a great run too. He finished about a minute behind Zach and Tasha, and he's looking at, obviously he got off to a good start. 9 minute, 8:59, 9:9. And then, at the end, you could see he was probably tapering off. My guess would be that was a long distance for him. Now how it works is when you're marathon training, and again, it varies per person and per body, but essentially you have either a 3 or 6 month workout. So for like a 6 month workout, you're trying to build up to 20 miles. You're going to do a long run of 6 miles once a week and then go up to 8, 10, 12, and slowly work your way up to that with offsetting, maybe a hill workout, some strength training, maybe a mid distance. So if your long distance of the week is 12 miles, maybe on a halfway there, you'll do like a 6 miler, and then you'll work your way up to around 20, 22 miles. Maybe after that, you take like 3 weeks off. You take a good chunk of time off from that long run, and then you run the marathon. And the deal is, and I'm no expert, but the deal is once you get to 20 miles, you can kind of feel the end is near, and then you'll push yourself to that 26. I think the idea is that it's just not healthy to run 26 miles. For some people, it is. They say once you hit 35, your joints are all matured and you can run a better marathon. When I ran mine at the age of 19 and won, I'll get into that. I actually separated my knee. So a lot of tendons when you're younger, they're tight. They're still, developing. And again, not an expert. So I'm sure someone in the comments will be like, well, actually, according to the, whatever, but that's what I know. So if anyone doesn't think they can run one, I'm going to show you somebody who was over 300 pounds that ran this race, and he did a great job. So we'll get into that. So there they are finishing. Her splits, I mean, she pretty much stuck to the plan, which is good because a lot of times people will get a ton of adrenaline and they will actually blow through the first couple miles just on adrenaline. And it's important to remind yourself to stay calm. It is a marathon, not a sprint, right, folks? Okay. I think it's the one time that I use that line that is not a metaphor. It's a marathon, not a sprint. We know, dummy. And of course, what other race do you run where you may have to poop your pants? I mean, is there any, you don't, I never felt like I needed to when I ran my marathon, but I feel like it's more like the ultra competitors, like they're the ones pushing their body to such a crazy place that the bowels are like, hey, we're going to take the rest of this race off. But hey, it happens, as Forrest Gump says, shit happens. I think that's what he said. All right, so there's Zach. Again, same exact splits as Tasha. They ran together. Jason had a good race here. So, if we go to Jason right here, this is Jason. He played for the Buccaneers. He was also at my alma mater, University of Rhode Island, over 300 pounds. Look, when you're a lineman, momentum equals, mass times acceleration, right? That's momentum. I'm no physicist here, but you need to be a big person. And when they're down on a 3-point stance, their knuckles are broken. They got all their body weight, on their hands. Their knees are banged up. Everything about you at that age, at that size, is real rough. For him to come down to this body type is just a real feat. A real feat. So we'll get back into him in a minute. There he is. 12-minute mile, started kind of hot, slowed it down to 12, 13 minutes. If you're running a 13-minute marathon, you're probably walking halfway, jogging halfway, because, a walking speed is 14 minutes to 20 minutes per mile. So if you're running a 13, you're kind of jogging, catching your breath, walking. Don't forget, your knees are jammed up, your hips are just on fire. Everything about your body is just in pain at this point. So really incredible to do this sort of act. Tyler, and I'll be honest, not to be critical because it just doesn't matter, but I was shocked at how slow Tyler and Matt ran the race. They ran a 5-hour marathon, which is a split time of, now this is where it doesn't make sense. Their split times aren't that bad. How do they calculate it to 5 hours? These are 10 minutes. I guess Jason ran a 4-hour, 50-minute, and they ran okay, so these are about right. Of course, we'll see. They're taking photos with people. They're hanging out. They're kind of, it's an event for them. They're not there for speed. So totally cool with that. But I was surprised because I was like, well, they were D1 athletes. You would think Matt James would have something to prove here and he'd want to dust everyone. Clearly, Joseph Park, MD, had something to prove because a 3-hour, 21-minute marathon is fast. I ran mine in 3 hours, 47 minutes. That is very fast that he ran that in 3:21. There they are with Rachel Kirkconnell. Didn't take part in the race, but good for Matt James there. And Peter Weber ran his marathon at 5 hours, 16 minutes. Again, Peter, not bad. Not as fast as I thought. I don't know. He's kind of a tall guy though. I feel like a marathon, the taller you are, the slower your gait is. My buddy was 6'3". He used to run marathons, and they would put him in the Clydesdale category, which is where they put big and tall people because they want the fast people up front so you don't get in each other's way. They put the big and tall people out back. All right, so that's that. We'll go to some more photos here. Really just great stuff happening. You know what I'll do is I'll jump ahead to this article I found. Why we need adversity. Why the hell would anyone ever want to run a marathon? What are you doing, guys? Why would you do this? Adversity is not fun to go through, but a growing body of research suggests that it is essential for bringing out the best in ourselves and becoming all we can be. In fact, adversity is important for all types of life. Without it, species would not evolve and would be unable to survive changes in their environment. The idea with running a marathon is that it's very personal. People can do it for a number of different reasons. They can do it because they want to prove to themselves that they can achieve something bigger than anything they've ever tried before. And the marathon is a place where you can have a very specific insular goal, you know, challenging your body, your mind, your soul, your spirit through adversity, while doing that with thousands of other people that are doing the same thing. You don't get a better vibe than the finish line of a marathon. You don't get a better vibe than mile 3, 12, 18, where you've got people cheering you on, strangers handing you a cup of water, a banana, one of those little goo packets. I loved those goo packets. When I ran my marathon, I ate like a turkey, like a Thanksgiving dinner's worth of calories. It's in the goo. It's carbs and sugars and sodium, and you're just squeezing it. The electrolytes and caffeine, each one of them got like 300 milligrams of caffeine. You're just squeezing these things, throwing, just running. You know what I mean? So I love that goo. I love that goo. So here they are. Let's go to some more photos. How do we fast forward through these? 1 second here. Back to grid view. Oh no, I wanted to do next. Cross post? That's not right. Anyway, I'm messing this up here. We'll show some of these other photos. Some more video and photos from Bachelor Nation. Beautiful man. There it is. Tyler and Matt James looking good. Tasha says, I'm crying. I freaking did it. What else do they have here? Go Tyler and Matt. Look at Matt. There it is. That's why they took 5 hours. How great is that? How? Tasha, Zach ran together with his Release Recovery Foundation. Matt and Tyler again. I mean, he's easy to find. They're tall, strong. He's got his shirt off. Be a little harder to find Zach Clark. So who's that? There's Zach again. You know, walking a little bit. Good pace. Special stuff. All right, we got them already, so not going to play unlicensed music. Zach with the nice 90s skiing glasses on. For those of you right, we'll play some other content later. Just looking for the marathon. All right, that's it from that page, and we're going through. So Joe's the winner. He's the fastest long distance runner in Bachelor Nation. If anyone wants to beat him, they're gonna have to run the race because he holds the record. I don't think there's ever been a group that has run. I mean, it's all for the most part thanks to Zach. Now of course Matt James and Tyler Cameron ran the race for Tyler. I'm sorry. Matt James and Tyler Cameron ran the race for Tyler's new foundation, which is for his late mother, which is kind of why I wanted to share a photo. So here's a great photo. This is Tyler and Matt hugging Tyler's dad. You can only, I don't know, imagine what they're feeling. But like I said about adversity, just seeing such a tangible goal achieved is worth the share. So here's Jason Foster. As I mentioned before, Jason Foster, if you guys remember, that's what I love about Jason Foster. He went on for Claire Crowley's season. She obviously left with Dale. I don't know if you've kept up with that story. They're not together anymore. And he loved Claire. Or thought he did, you know, and he didn't want to compete for Tasha. He's like, with all due respect to Tasha, he left and self-eliminated after Claire had left. And he's just been a nice kind of warm, you know, a guy that doesn't have a crazy following. He's not out there every other day, but he's got, I think he's been very well liked by Bachelor contestants. So here he is finishing the race. Yes, sir! 300 plus pounds just a few years ago, running for Zach's Release Foundation. There he is, happy as a clam. 100 yards to go, ladies and gentlemen, the final 100 yards.
100 yards.
You got this. Jason Foster, congratulations on completing the New York Marathon.
Yes.
There it is. You did it. You can say you're a marathoner. Congrats, Jason. The face of a man who just ran a GD marathon. Congrats, Jason. So proud of you. There it is. Of course. And of course. So it's been a lot of work sifting through all this content here. Actually, not really. When the modern Olympics began, why do we run 26.2 miles? What the hell does it mean? Well, when the modern Olympics began in 1896, of course, the ancient Olympics, or whatever you want to call them, took place years ago, thousands of years, I don't know. I missed that day of class. And then they brought them back in 1896. The initiators and organizers were looking for a great popularizing event, recalling the glory of ancient Greece. The idea of a modern marathon came from Michael Brial, who wanted the event to feature the first modern Olympic Games in 1896 in Athens. The idea was heavily supported by Pierre de Coubertin, the founder of the modern Olympics, as well as by the Greeks. The Greeks staged a selection race for the Olympic marathon on March 22nd, 1896. It was won by a guy in 3 hours and 18 minutes. So if Joseph Park was around in 1896, wrong one. If he was around in 1896, he might have won this thing. He would have had a silver medal. You know, obviously let's go to this. Let's go to fastest Olympic times, fastest marathon times. Now, fastest marathon time record ever. I mean, it's just insane how fast people can run. So we look at this. The fastest marathon ever is 2 hours and 1 minute, almost twice as fast as the fastest Olympian in 1896. The ability for the human body to progress this quickly with a marathon just goes to show, you know, when the first person ran a sub 4 minute marathon, a sub 4 minute mile, you couldn't drive a Lamborghini that fast. Could you? 26 miles in 4 minutes? Maybe, I don't know. 400 miles an hour? Either way, when the first person to run a sub 4 minute mile, they never thought it could be broken. And then all of a sudden, multiple people broke it after that because of the idea that the brain realizes something is achievable. So people do realize you can run a marathon. It's not necessarily rocket science. It's just a certain amount of work to prepare. Now, look, could I run a marathon today if someone, was like, hey, Dave, I'll give you $5,000? Yeah, it wouldn't be pretty. I'd probably bust my knee. I'm all over the place. But you can train your body to do it is the point. And absolutely, that's what
Some guys out here met some familiar faces.
Here's what's wild to me is Joe ran into Matt James on the marathon trail, but then beat them by, I don't know, over an hour. You know, so he must have really dusted them after this.
Back behind me, I don't know what he's doing back here.
This is a slow pace back here.
This is the snail group. You're up there with the...
Some guys out here met some familiar faces.
Now, also, it's important to note, in races like this, I'm assuming they have an electronic reader, so their times start when they enter the starting line and then finish. So that it could have been that Joe started 30 minutes behind them and then lapped them. You know what I mean? Not lapped them, but passed them. That could have been the case.
He came all the way in the back behind me. I don't know what he's doing back here.
This is a slow pace back here.
This is the snail group. You're up there with the...
Some guys out here met some familiar.
So there, and then of course there's Dusty. So all right, I think that's all of them. Oh, and that's of course. Speaking of marathons, we have Katie's Love Marathon. Here it is, the video she just posted of her and John seeing each other for the first time after they she got back from the show, and then she said, "Y'all are getting wild in my DMs." Of course, this being the people that believe they're back together. So I don't believe they are, but hey, if they are, who cares? Happy for them. All right, here's a photo of my marathon. This was a long time ago. I was 19. I got the little. This is right after the finish line. I ran the Ocean City Marathon in Ocean City, New Jersey, or maybe it's called Ocean Drive Marathon. Either way, only like probably 500-600 people ran the race. Turns out I was the fastest that ran it that was under 20 years old, so I won first place under 20. Now, did I run it particularly fast? No. Was there only one other person that was technically in the race under the age of 20? Yes. So I could have ran it 10 hours, and I still would have gotten a silver medal for that. So anyway, I decided to run a marathon when I was 19 because I just kind of got cut from the baseball team, D1 school. I wasn't good enough, and I wanted to like challenge my body to do something else that I've never done before. It's the first race I've ever run, and I think the only race I've ever run really outside of like high school track, but it was the first and only street race I've ever run, and I was happy to do it. I don't imagine a scenario in which I would run a marathon again, and I'm not here to pat my back. I'm obviously kidding. Like, to be 19 and run a marathon at 3 hours and 47 minutes isn't exactly a high feat. When you're that age, you can just wake up, have a cup of coffee, and go to town. But it was fun because I trained with a bunch of older people. They were probably 30, but to a 19-year-old, you're like, they're ancient. And we would get up early Saturday mornings, which at that point in college, no one's getting up at 7 a.m. in the morning. You're getting home at 7 a.m. in the morning. And it was a fun change of pace to go from like the life of a college student to like properly training for something. And it was a good discipline for me to do. Like I said, I separated my knee. I limped to the finish line, but I was still able to I was still running fast. And I just remember this one moment where I was like on mile 16 in a small marathon like the one I ran. You could go blocks without having another runner. In the New York Marathon, everyone's kind of like, it's crowded. There's dozens of thousands of people, right? 100,000? I mean, a ton of people running this. My marathon only had a couple thousand, 600. I don't know what it was. Very small. So there were times when if someone passed you, you'd have an interaction. And I just remember this veteran running with I don't remember what his disability was, but he had some sort of degenerative disease, and he had an American flag, and he passed me, and he was running fast, and I was like, golly, that guy's got a story about why he's running the race. And every single person that runs that race does it to honor somebody else like Tyler does for his mom, does it to honor addiction like Zach and Tasha and Jason Foster and everyone that ran for his charity, which is about overcoming addiction. We're all looking for adversity in different ways. The question is, in a world that makes life easier for us, with automation, with so many different ways the world's making life easier, what will you do to provide challenges in your life to feel that adversity overcome? Healthy challenges, healthy ways to challenge your mind, body, and soul. What will you do? A marathon's a great thing, but other people, when we go to the New Year's, fast approaching 2022, what will we do to continue to pull at our joints, ligaments, and muscles, our soul and our spirit, and the journey that we're on, the story we're telling ourselves, and we want to tell our kids and our grandkids? What adversity do we go after that'll give us that pride that tells us that we not only tried something, but we accomplished it? Let me know if you guys have any like sort of New Year's resolutions you're already working on and already thinking about. Let me know. Leave a comment. I'd love to hear about them. All right, that was this video. More coming your way. Happy Monday, and congrats to everybody who ran the New York City Marathon. Bye, everybody.